this recently. I want to camp back here and just frankly kill people because I wouldn't lose that much, I don't think. Or, well, yes, I would. I would lose something here. Let's go back home. Or I can't, well, I don't know. That's kind of a long, like, proposition, actually. I mean, we can. We can go back home. It's like pretty a direct line, like right there. It's like pretty much direct line. What's that? Yellow Sepa. Wait, no, no, I want that. Yes, I want that. Yes, I want that. Yes, Yellow Sepa. Nice. Landing technique, huh? Water, still have all the calamine that I need. Hey, Direwolf got level 26. Sweet. Go Direwolf. I should take him to go level on zombies so he gets bigger. Because that's a good gameplay loop. I might get ganked in the graveyard, but I mean, it is a good gameplay loop. I need to harvest 5 carrots. Okay, so...
Sit on down because today we're talking about very, very naughty doctors. We're talking about doctors of death. A nice little
and they show House like he's a Kevorkian or something like that. But no, the darkest thing House ever did, I think, on all of the episodes was... Well, there was burning the building that he was in on the last episode, but there's like there's the one where he does an address to a medical to like a medical convention where he talks about like being a doctor of death and what benefits it might actually attain their patients as opposed to just the death. And it's actually kind of eye-opening. That's about the darkest thing he ever does, is he tries to morally condone Dr. Kevorkian from a pain perspective. Because he's like, some of these people, they wake up all day long, they deal with 14 hours of pain. They want to kill themselves at the end of the day. They don't have anything. They can't move. They're terrible. Their lives have terrible quality. And they beg us to kill them all the time. That's all they ask us to do. And he has a point about this. He has a point about that. But no, we can't be killing people. That's what he says at the end too. He was like, I'll leave it up to you, to your interpretation, Okay, so first we sell heads, I guess. We got some progress on the bandit camp, or bandit quest, but it's annoying. See if there's any carrots. Carrots. Gotta sell heads. Taskmaster foraging. Are we done? White Cavallo. Oh, no. I don't want White Cavallo, no. I want to come to the grocery vendor and I want to sell these heads. Nice. We made 6 gold. Not bad. That's better than what we lost. Oh, 9 gold. Nice. So there's coal and all that stuff. We'll feed... I guess I will just get another horse because I abandoned that saddle. Yeah, I guess I'll get a horse because I think I can run the wolf and the horse at the same time. I think. Or no, I'll just level I'll level the wolf against zombies is what I'll do. And we'll take a little bit more meat to feed him, like another 1,000. Yeah. Stack it. How's that? That's kind of heavy, but gold, carrots. Rock oil, ichor, arrows. Oh, yeah. No, I shouldn't be able to hear that guy's voice. Voice chat volume. Alright, disable the chat then. It's fine. And then some onions for a stack. Ogmere. Ichor, huh? What do you do with it? Where's my Ichor at? There, Ichor. Use to smoke Ichor with. Okay, well, I don't know. Why won't you stack to previous stacks? It's so stupid. I guess I will buy, or I will grab it. Any, oops, no, that's not what I wanted. Any horse saddle or anything like that that we have. There's horse bags and bear bags. Horse bag. But I don't think I have any horse armor, so let's take 2 gold.
Jack, you know, I always thought that every doctor was technically a doctor of death because in some way or another, I feel like a doctor has probably inadvertently killed somebody or has known somebody to die. I feel like doctors come in contact with death all the time. But in particular, these are just odd doctors. I don't know how to say it. I don't think that we're dealing with all doctors of death. Let's just say evil, evil, spooky, dark doctors. And nurses. Evil medical professionals gone wrong. 4K, Unreal Engine, photorealistic. Gone sexual. That's exactly right. Which doctors are supposed to be people that are supposed to keep you safe. You go to a doctor for good news or for help, right? Doctors are the angels on earth, dare I say. These people, you know, they defied that logic. They're the archangels. They're the demons. They're Dr. House. I want the good doctor, but instead, House is walking in. Or should I say hobbling in. And he calls me dumb and fat, and then hobbles back out of the room. All right, anyways, we're going to start our list off with Dr. Harold Shipman, the Angel of Death. Dr. Harold Frederick Shipman, infamously known as the Angel of Death, was a British general practitioner.
Oh, I can ride him now.
Prolific serial killers in recorded history.
Look at that. Yay. Let's go level him.
All of history.
All of history. The book World of History.
This is like the most infamous guy.
This is one of the most infamous guys. Okay.
I'm going to put the
I'll
horse
take your
armor
word
away
for
because
it.
it's
Starting
heavy.
in the 1970s and continuing until his arrest in 1998, it is estimated that he killed between 200 and 250 of his patients. That is 30. Well, a little shy of 30 years of murder. But at the same time, if you had a baseball card and you flipped that bad boy over, that's a pretty impressive baseball card, is what that is. He primarily targeted elderly women who lived alone, but also sought out both males and females of varying ages. Just knock off a couple little birds.
He's doing them a favor.
He's like, he's like, it's pretty much one of those things where it's like someone is trying to go through a door or whatever. You're basically there. You just like push them through anyways. Just go.
Or they're trying to jump off. Bungee cord things. And
yeah, they're nervous. They're like, I'm afraid to go. And he's just like, and like pushes them, and they whoop, come back up. Today's video is sponsored by Aura. Let me tell you something. There's gonna be nothing more annoying than get a ton of spam calls or text. Oh. Working up at the studio, I'll get a message from a random number, and then it just says, hello? Hello? Who is this? I don't know you. Who are you? You're a stranger. Stop! And there's no chance in hell I'm responding or answering to that, all right? Because annoying as these little cockroaches are, I must resist. They're trying to get you to respond so they can steal your personal information. From there, data brokers online can sell that to scammers, spammers, and anyone who's looking to target you. But now, I don't have to worry because I have Aura! Recently, Ticketmaster was hacked and the data of over 500 million users were put up for sale on the dark web. That's fucked. The data stolen included full names, email addresses, phone numbers, and even credit card numbers. Which is why I love having Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and stops them in their tracks. Aura trying to get into my social media and bank accounts. It gives me fast fraud alerts and does the work for me when it comes to removing sensitive information from these websites. Aura also provides an antivirus, a VPN, and a password manager, all from a single app for one low cost. Take back your security when browsing the web and have no fear with Aura. Go to aura.com/papameat or check the description to start your free 2-week trial today. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring this video, and back to the video. His modus... What does that even mean? Is that a...
Motive. It means why you do things.
Shows is like, what's his MO?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Should we just... I feel like I should just say his MO.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and say his modus operandi, or his MO. I had no idea. What's his MO? What a dumb thing. Was to inject his victims with a lethal dose of diamorphine, heroin, making it appear as if the victim died of natural causes. To conceal his crimes, he often altered medical records to suggest his patients were in poor health. I mean, bitches are old, dude. He also signed death certificates himself, which allowed him to avoid scrutiny from other medical professionals and authorities.
Yeah, he was very adamant. Let me sign that. Let me sign that.
That paperwork right there. Nah, let me grab that. Let me grab that quick. Can I see that? I just want to see it real quick. You should write on that, and it's done. It's done. He's altering the records. Shipman was fascinated with death from an early age ever since his mother died from lung cancer. During her illness, she was administered morphine, which alleviated her pain. Psychologists and criminologists have struggled to fully understand Shipman's motivations, but it is speculated that this early exposure to the effect of morphine had some influence in his killing spree. That's a bombshell because my immediate gut reaction was yes. Well, how did he give his mom cancer? No, you know what he did? No, you know what he did to his mom? His mom got cancer, and all he did every day, he was like, here, drink this water. He kept putting a water bottle by like an open window and letting the light come in. Here, drink this, Mom. She's like, tastes like microplastics. He's like... Before the murders, Shipman was caught forging an opioid prescription for his own use. King. He was fined 600 euros and was able to continue his practice after attending a rehab center. He had an extremely controlling personality and would constantly override the wishes of his patients and their families, insisting that his methods and decisions were final. I love that. No, I don't think we need that. He's like, you do. You do. Well, it's just kind of like a swollen ankle. I don't think we need. No, you're going to take the meth. Oh, no, you're going to take the heroin. I mean, whatever it's called. Morphine. Who am I to judge? He also attended the funerals of his victims, which allowed him to show that he was a caring doctor and to deflect suspicion from himself. Despite his facade of a caring doctor, Shipman was known among colleagues for his arrogance and belittling behavior. One colleague of his stated,
he was often unnecessarily rude and made some of them feel stupid.
To be fair, that quote was dumb.
Some of us feel like a real bunch of waterheads. Right, guys?
And they're all just like...
Not me, though.
Or they're all British, so they're just like, hey, he thought he did, eh? Nah, we don't know. Shipman was eventually caught after the questionable death of Kathleen Grundy, a wealthy 81-year-old widow. Man, that's my dream life.
81-year-old widow?
Oh, dude. Some 81-year-old, like, billionaire.
How'd you come in here? Give me a kiss.
You know what I mean? And I'm like... Grundy's daughter grew suspicious when she found out that her mother excluded her and her children from the will and left 400,000 didgeridoos to Shipman. I'm just gonna keep saying didgeridoos. An autopsy was performed and revealed the lethal levels of diamorphine in her system. This led authorities to exhume several other bodies, uncovering more evidence of lethal injections. Shipman was convicted on January 31st, 2000. It was found guilty on all 15 counts of murder and 1 count of forgery. The worst crime of them all. I like how there's like one guy. Be sure to get the forgery in there. Just in case the 15 life sentences are enough, be sure to put that forgery on top. It was noted that during his trial, he showed no remorse for his actions. His demeanor was often described as cold and detached. He was sentenced to life imprisonment with the recommendation that he should never be released. Well, at this time, how old is he? He's gonna be old as fuck, right?
And I recommend you never let him out.
He's like, I'm 78. I don't care. I'll sleep on a cot for 3 years and die in my sleep. That doesn't feel like justice is served, does it? No. He's like, all right, you're gonna have to basically be at summer camp forever. Free meals every day. He's like, that's great. I have dementia. Oh, wait. He was found to have rode the sewers in his cell at Wakefield Prison on January 13th, 2004, the day before his 58th birthday.
I was only 58.
No, that's still a long time. 58, almost 60 years old, and you've had 30 years of killing. I mean, that has to equate to like at least a 90-year-old guy. You know what I mean? Like that much. Like, come on. How many collective years did he steal from people? Add it on top. Even if it's a fucking 83-year-old woman, it's like, you got a year left. Add it on top. See, now you're 59. I don't know. This is seen as his final act of control, denying the families of the victims the chance to see him serve his full sentence. This case remains one of the most shocking examples of medical malpractice, leading to significant changes to how doctors are monitored and how death certificates are issued. That's kind of crazy, too, that, I mean, this happened in the year 2000, or the guy was in prison in the year 2000. I still think about anything like that in my lifetime as like being relatively soon. Well, I mean, it's like only 20 years ago.
That was like when 9/11 happened.
Yeah. True. Way to bring the video down, dude. Also, I'm talking about like a rich person, and you write the people out and you only give yourself $400,000 worth. Dunce, dude. I do wonder what kind of control that is, though. A lot of these serial killers throughout history, right? Like binding, like BTK, bind, torture, kill. They had like some kind of like super control over it. But just giving someone a lethal injection just feels so lackluster.
I think it's just like that fascination of like, I control your life.
Okay, well, I guess, yeah. I'm the person who gets to decide when your final date is.
They're basically death.
Yeah, you are the angel of death. You're just like, today's the day. Yeah, okay, I can see that.
I also think, relating back to his mom, there's like a sympathy aspect where he's like, I see these people in pain and I'm suffering.
So he's a good guy.
Yeah, that's what I.
So he's a good guy. He's a good, yeah, that's cool. Next up, we have Nurse Charles Colon. Charles Edmund Colon is one of the most infamous serial killers in American history.
I specifically put American history because it's not the world.
Right. As a nurse, a male nurse, he used his position to murder at least 40 patients over the course of his 16-year killing spree. His method of killing was both insidious and difficult to detect. He would administer lethal doses of
digoxin,
insulin, and epinephrine to his victims. These drugs, especially in the critical care units where he worked, could easily be attributed to natural causes of underlying health conditions. Charles Colon was born in 1960 and is the youngest of 8 children. God, he's like barely older than my mom. She is so old, dude. God, you ever like think about your parents' age? You're just like, God damn, dude. Mummy's walking around. Oh, Lord. When he was 7 months old, his father died, leaving his mother to raise him and his siblings alone. Colon described his childhood as unhappy, marked by bullying from classmates, and feelings of isolation. When he was 9 years old, Colon made his first suicide attempt by drinking chemicals from his chemistry set. He attempted to ride the sewers at the age of 17 when his mother died in a car accident. Because of his mental struggles, he dropped out of high school and joined the Navy. He was then subsequently bullied by his shipmates. God damn, dude, leave this motherfucker alone. Holy shit. Which led to him making several more attempts to end his own life again. And in one instance, he tried to end his life by locking himself in a compartment and drinking a mixture of chemicals. What's up with him being like, all right, chemical time number 4. Try something different. You're on Navy? I don't know, man. I don't want to tell you how to do the deed. I don't want to tell you how to ride the sewers. I don't know, dude. Mixing Febreze and bleach isn't doing it for you. Like, come on. After a series of psychological evaluations, Colon was medically discharged from the Navy in 1984. Wonder how long he was in there. Well, he keeps drinking bleach and Febreze. Maybe you should just go home? I don't know. Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, go home, Febreze boy. Dude, you smell good. Yo, why your breath smell so good, dude?
He's like, stop, guys, stop.
Spray his mouth. After leaving the Navy, Colon pursued a career in nursing and graduated in 1987. It's a strange trajectory. How do you find the nursing thing? Do you think he was positively affected by a nurse who was helping him?
I was gonna
Like,
say,
oh, here, help, you know.
it's almost like psychologists are like, I'm broken, so I need to become a psychologist to fix other people.
Well, if that's the case, you'd almost assume he'd like become a chemist.
Yeah.
Why, if you keep drinking that many chemicals, why would you not be like, I'm going to make the perfect death potion for myself? Would that not be the best thing? I don't know. His first killing was at St. Barnabas Medical Center in Livingston, New Jersey on June 11th, 1988. Despite the suspicious nature of the death, Colin faced no immediate consequences. And over the next 16 years, he moved from hospital to hospital, leaving a trail of unexplained deaths in his wake. Throughout his career, Colin's mental health continued to deteriorate. He attempted to ride the sewers at multiple times, using various methods such as overdosing on pills, lighting charcoal grills in enclosed spaces to succumb to carbon monoxide poisoning, and even injecting himself with concoction of medications. It wasn't until 2003 when a series of suspicious deaths at Somerset Medical Center raised some alarms. The hospital's advanced computerized drug dispensing system, HICE, helped identify Colin's pattern of excessive drugs not prescribed to his patients. The pivotal moment came from when Colin attempted to murder a patient named Philip Greger. The hospital records show Colin had ordered medications for patients who were not under his care. An internal investigation, coupled with pressure from the New Jersey Poison Control Center, led to Colin's arrest on December 12th, 2003, 2 years after the towers fell. I feel like all these we're going to just keep coming back to that. Following his arrest, Colin cooperated with authorities, confessing to killing at least 40 patients over his career. However, investigators believe the actual number of victims could be much higher, potentially in the hundreds. Colin was charged on multiple counts of murder and attempted murder. And in 2006, Charles Colin was sentenced to 11 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. He is currently serving his sentence at New Jersey State Prison in Trenton. That's insane that he's still alive. And every time I hear these, you're like, oh, the guy's still. How is that justice? Kill the fucking guy, dude. That would him getting a lethal injection or whatever. That'd be the perfect ending to it.
I was gonna say that'd be too much, 'cause that's what he wants. He wants to kill himself so bad, so it's almost like torture for him to live.
Yeah. That's probably true. That, or I just feel like people need like some kind of crazy punishment, like you have to just like stand in like a 4x4 box for the rest of your life. I have mental health problems. Fuck you. Slide the thing.
What about the Japanese would hold their prisoners upside down and like put a little cut in their neck?
And they just bleed out slowly. Telling you. See, that's just a little like, that's a torturous way. And I know it probably sounds a little barbaric, but that's just, to me, justice is like eye for an eye, right?
How about undoing what you did? So he'd have to give birth to...
He doesn't give birth. Are you saying that? All right, you killed 40 people. Now you have to foster 40 children. Court adjourned. Everyone's like, put forgery at the top of that, please. Forgery. Next up, we have Nurse Niels Hogel. I did not say that right. I don't know how to. Did you say Hogel, you think? Hegel. Hogel. Niels Hogel. Ugel. Niels Ugel was born on December 30th, 1976 in Wilhelmshaven, Germany. Little is publicly known about his early life, but it has been described as relatively unremarkable. Ugel began his nursing career in the late 90s, and Ugel's method of killing was both straightforward and terrifyingly effective. He administered overdoses of heart medications such as linocaine and calcium chloride to his patients. I just don't even try because I know I'm going to say it wrong, so if I do at least do it in a funny way, then people are like, oh. These drugs, when given in excessive amounts, could induce life-threatening cardiac arrhythmia. Heart attacks. It's just heart attacks. Ugel would then attempt to resuscitate the very patients he had brought to the brink of death, all in an attempt to demonstrate his medical prowess and his heroic deed. Some colleagues reportedly referred to Ugel as Resuscitation Rambo due to the frequency and enthusiasm which he engaged in emergency resuscitations. Which, first off, red flag number one. And the guy's like, oh my god, yes, my turn. When instead of like taking it seriously, what if I also kind of, how creepy is that? Is that goes Resuscitation Rambo, eh? Hey, Ugel, good job on reviving that guy. And he's just like,
I must have failed a lot though too.
yeah, alright, I tried.
Nothing I could do.
Well, you know, at least I gave it my all, right, guys? And they're like, true, Ugel. True. Ugel's murder I'm gonna stick with Ugel, I don't give a Ugel's murder spanned from 2000 to 2005, during which he is believed to have killed at least 85 patients, though the actual number, as always, may be higher. Which also, you know what I would say to that is like, why would they not admit to just be like, yeah, I killed like a lot?
Because maybe they forget. I don't remember.
Did Ugel, kill that guy? I'm going to say it's a wash, I don't know. His actions went undetected for years, and his victims were often elderly or critically ill patients who were less likely to survive a medical emergency. This made it easier for Ugo to mask his murders as natural deaths or medical complications. He would typically work the night shift, a time when fewer staff were present, allowing him to operate with little interference. Ugo's downfall began at Del Manchort Clinic, where colleagues in hospital administration started noticing an unusually high number of resuscitation attempts and deaths during his shift. Which was kind of funny. Alright, so during the daytime we had 2 today. During the graveyard shift we had 463. That has to be a typo, right? Ugo, is that a typo? I don't know. I guess I'm just lucky. It's an 87% fatality rate. Well, you know, you got to know when to hold them, and you got to know when to fold them. Am I right, guys? Despite these red flags, it took several years before concrete action was taken, and in June of 2005, a colleague caught Ugo in the act of injecting a patient with potentially lethal dose of Amaline. Amaline?
Ajmaline? I don't know.
It's Ajmaline. Ajmaline? I am a salty prince. The patient survived and Ugo was arrested. Initially, he was charged with attempted murder, but further investigation revealed the true extent of his crimes. Initially, he was tried and convicted for 2 murders and 2 attempted murders, but Ugo eventually confessed to 55 murders and convicted for 85.
They just tagged on more for him.
I'm pretty sure that's Ugo. He's like, no.
Why did you reset?
Me. After a deep psychological evaluation from doctors, he exhibited traits of narcissism and a craving for attention and recognition. Me. Would you say I'm narcissistic, Nick? Give me some narcissistic breakdowns.
The asteroid is depleted.
Thinking and behavior, empathy, consideration for other people, and an excessive need for admiration.
I mean.
Alright. You do hit 90% of those.
Yeah. I would say almost 100. What's the 90%? Which one that? Which one do you think is true?
Wait, which one is true? Just off your own words, the need for admiration, an excessive need for admiration.
Fuck you, you're fired. His motives appear to be a combination of a desire to impress colleagues with his resuscitation skills and a pathological need for control over life and death. During trials and testimonials, he stated to saying some of these things. I wanted to create an emergency situation and then bring the patient back to life.
Oh, asteroid depleted,
I
huh?
felt euphoric when I managed to resuscitate someone. It was a continuous craving for recognition. You know, it's actually pretty interesting for a serial killer. Because once again, all the serial killers who get the spotlights, you know, people who are like, I'm gay and I couldn't be gay, so I had to have my like Jeffrey Dahmer. I was gay, so I wanted them to never leave me. Or like I had to control them and like, you know, torture them for my own sadistic game. But just being a doctor and just the idea of like I get to choose when your life ends, like now, this patient I get to control when this patient goes. In like a caring way, in a fucked up caring way, it makes so much more sense. Like the more we go down these, the more I'm like, oh, obviously this is like a serial killer's like paradise.
Also, it's noted that he had an unremarkable life, so maybe he was just bored.
Unremarkable life? Well, here's the thing. An unremarkable life. He continuously wanted praise from people. So he was probably a guy who probably didn't have a lot of talents and stuff. Maybe didn't have a lot of friends. He had a very middle of the road. So then he probably like resuscitated somebody one time and he got that attention he wanted. And he's like, oh shit, I'm gonna chase that high forever. It's like sadistically sad and like crazy that like people can be put in that mental space where they're like, I need to literally have someone go into cardiac arrest so someone will give me attention. Just fucking weird what the human brain like thinks of.
Oh, I bet too, even the patients. Thank you, Doctor.
Oh yeah, you saved me. I'm doctor. Thank you for saving my life. And he's like, live Dr. Oogle reaction. What, me? Dr. Oogle you refer to? Okay.
I think that was the first time it happened. He like brought someone back to life.
Oh yeah, the first patient he actually saved, that was the fucking tilting point. Because then next time, I bet you what happened is, he's like, the guy saying, thank you, Dr. Oogle, and then the family's just like, oh, Dr. Oogle, thank you. Oh. And he's like, oh, wow, you, like this euphoric feeling, right? So then the next day he comes in and the guy's like, my back hurts. He's like, okay, but I can write you this prescription. And he didn't have any reaction to it. And he's like, don't you have something to say to Dr. Ugel? And they're like, oh, no. What should I say? And he's like, nothing. That's where he's like, I hope someone is like almost going to die today so I can get that reaction. You know what I mean?
You probably have the paddles ready every day.
Yeah, every day. Did you have chest pain? They're like, 9. All right, next up we have Dr. for Christopher Dunch, a.k.a. Dr. Death. These simple titles like that, so sick.
I was gonna say, everyone like on this list was referred to as Dr. Death.
Yeah, I mean, it's the easiest tagline, Dr. Death or whatever. You know, the Angel of Death, like the, you know, Dr. Death, all these things. So sick. It has that simple approach that like 1970s film have, or even like in House of a Thousand Corpses, it's like Dr. Satan. It's so simple and stupid, but goddamn does it work. I love it. Dr. for Christopher Dunch is a former neurosurgeon who became infamous for his gross incompetence and catastrophic outcomes of his surgeries. Born in 1971, Dunch had a promising start, earning his MD and PhD from the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. Despite early warnings about his lack of skill during residency, he began practicing in Dallas, Texas in 2011. Yeah, I got it from the Tennessee Medical Center. Which, no offense to Tennessee, imagine he's just like, DeVry University. DeVry. Phoenix Online, National American University.
Full Sail.
Full Sail, yeah. Fullsail.edu. Thank you, sir. However, his tenure at these institutions were short-lived due to his incompetence and catastrophic outcomes of his surgeries. We've said catastrophic twice, so that's how you know it's about ready to get real bad. Buckle up. Patients under his care suffered severe complications,
5 gold,
ranging from nerve damage to paralysis and even death. Some of the notable cases from his malpractices were these patients. Jerry Summers. Dunch operated on Summers, a close friend, leaving him a quadriplegic. Summers' surgery was riddled with errors, including the improper placement of spinal hardware and excessive blood loss.
This is his homie.
Well, that's exactly. His buddy's just like, see you on the other side, buddy. And you
oh my god.
Well, Jerry, it didn't really go as planned. He's in his wheelchair, just like. That's insane. I like how excessive blood loss too. Oh shit! I should not have cut that. God damn it! Is this even a serial killer? Or is this just a bad doctor? It's just a bad doctor. To get the title Dr. Death and it's just from your own incompetency is so funny. Oh my god. Or Kelly Martin, who was a 55-year-old school teacher. In March of 2012, Martin underwent a routine spinal fusion surgery performed by Dunch at Baylor Regional Medical Center. How does he keep getting doctor positions in places? Good god. The surgery turned disastrous as Dunch severed an artery near Martin's spine, causing excessive blood loss. Despite clear signs of complications, Dunch failed to manage the situation properly, and Martin died from this massive blood loss caused by the botched surgery. That's insane. That's fucking crazy. You know what also makes this actually the most horrifying case so far that we've covered? Is that he's not even like trying to be evil. There's just incompetent doctors out there. That's the scariest thing. Now, next time I have to have a surgery, I'm going to be like, I'm going to think that it's a fucking guy who graduated from Tennessee Medical School or fucking Full Sail. Or we have Mary Efford, who was a 74-year-old woman who suffered from back pain. In 2012, Efford underwent spinal fusion surgery by Dunch at Dallas Medical Center. Dunch placed several screws and hardware in muscle tissue instead of bone, severed nerve roots, and left surgical implements in her spine. Efford was left with severe pain, limited mobility, and required a wheelchair. Another surgeon described the operation as the worst he had ever seen and likened it to assault.
He just screwed into the muscle.
He has like a DeWalt drill. He's like, I don't know. I mean, she's 74. She's not walking anyways, right? I like how another surgeon, another operation guy was just like looking at it. He's like, this is the exact same as if he would have just beaten her with an aluminum bat. Next, we have Floella Brown, who was a 64-year-old woman. She underwent cervical spine surgery by Dunch in 2012 at Dallas Medical Center. During the surgery, Dunch severed Brown's vertebral artery, causing a massive stroke. That was so bad. I'm like, It's just, oh, how are you just like, no, god damn it. Okay, hold on. Yep, she's spazzing. We have a spazzer, guys. I like to think he's that, like, chill about it, too. Oh, okay, we got a bleeder.
Got another one.
The nurses are just standing there, like, you know, their mask on. They're just like, hold on. Yep, she's spazzing. We have a spazzer, guys.
Fuck, I have 5
Brain dead
gold.
and died
Son of a
shortly after the
bitch.
surgery.
I'm gonna go
You think
back.
he was the one who declared her brain dead, too?
No, I think he was trying to. No, she's fine.
No, she's fine. She's on the table. Yeah, just. That's horrible. That's horrible. This honestly feels the most, like, this is the most evil. Just incompetency, human incompetency, and just especially Dallas being like, he checks out in our books. Numerous other patients suffered under Dutch's care, with cases involving misplaced screws, damaged nerves, and unnecessary procedures. Some patients were left with chronic pain, paralysis, or severe disabilities. And in response to the growing number of injured and deceased patients, Dutch was allowed to resign from several hospitals without having to have his medical license revoked. Thus
I like
allowing
looking
this
at
to
my
continue
boobies.
Practice. It wasn't until 2013 that Dutch's medical license was finally suspended by the Texas Medical Board, which I like to think it's just a bunch of guys, one guy in a doctor's outfit, and then 2 other guys with like bolo ties and giant cowboy hats. Now, Dutch, we hate to do it, but we got to Why? They just show like a spine with like 70 screws, like everywhere besides the spinal column. In 2015, he was arrested and charged with multiple counts of aggravated assault and injury to elderly person because of his surgeries. In 2017, he was found guilty of maiming.
But he's a
Arian
doctor,
group
so
and
just
was
let him do it
sentenced
for
to
20
life in
years.
prison. The trial revealed shocking details of his incompetence and disregard for patient safety, solidifying his infamy. Dutch's motivations remain a subject of debate. Some experts suggest that he suffered from a combination of narcissistic personality disorder and delusions of grandeur, believing himself to be infallible despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Despite every evidence stating, sir, you are horrible at your job.
Man, you stupid.
His lack of remorse and continued insistence of his competence suggest a deep psychological disturbance. Which, that raises something, because to me, I was picturing a guy who, you know, showing up and he's just like, it's easy, this is easy, and he does a shit job. But this almost makes it seem like on purpose he was maybe doing it. You don't think so? To the extent of him, like, haphazardly doing something and being like, done, it's fine. I don't know, there's, like, certain levels to it. In my mind, like, I think that he was just, like, terrible at his job.
Yeah, I think he was like, I have a PhD, I'm so smart, don't question me.
Buddy, who are you to talk to me like that when I got a full ride at DeVry University? Yeah, I took the whole course from my Toshiba laptop. I think I know my way around a spinal cord. A Ryobi drill. Next up, we have Dr. Linda Hazard. Great name. I like that name. Linda Hazard? That's like an old honky-tonk woman, dude. If I was like in 1968, if I was like an oil rig guy in Dallas or Houston, go to a bar. Miss, can I buy you a drink? What's your name, darling? Linda Hazard? I'm like, we're in for a bumpy night, dude. Born in 1867 in Carver County, Minnesota. She did not attend traditional medical school, but instead studied under a practice that awarded her the title of fasting specialist. Don't know what that means. Despite lacking formal medical education, Hazard obtained a license to practice medicine in the state of Washington due to a loophole that allowed practitioners of alternative medicine to be licensed. Hazard was a proponent of fasting therapy, a method she claimed can cure a wide range of ailments by cleansing the body of toxins. So basically a purge, like a purge doctor. Don't eat for a long time and shit your brains out. You'll feel fine, you'll feel so good. Her approach involves severe dietary restrictions, often limiting patients to a diet of small amounts of vegetable broth and juice, sometimes for extended periods. And in 1908, Hazard published a book titled Fasting for Cure of Disease, as well as establishing the Hazard Institute of Natural Therapeutics with her husband. The facility was marketed as a sanitarium where patients could undergo her fasting regimen. The duration of the fasting period varied depending on the patient's condition and Hazard's judgment, often lasting several weeks and even months. Holy shit. Sorry, Janet, we're gonna have to push the carrot juice one more month. She's like a skeleton. Whatever you say, Dr. Hazard. Patients were required to consume minimal calories, leading to severe weight loss and malnutrition. Hazard promised that her fasting therapy could cure a wide range of diseases, including, but not limited to, digestive disorders, tuberculosis, cancer, heart disease, and even mental illness. In addition to fasting, treatments included daily enemas and massages, which Hazard claimed were necessary to aid in detoxification process.
The enemas yourself.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead? We're gonna put this up your butt and we're gonna rub you out. The person's like, are we gay? Due to the severe caloric restriction, patients experience extreme weakness, fatigue, and significant weight loss, and many were bedridden and unable to care for themselves. Hazard's treatments resulted in numerous deaths, and she was suspected of causing the deaths of at least 15 patients. Many of her patients were wealthy individuals who came seeking cures for various ailments, but ended up losing their lives. Steve Jobs. Hazard was known to exploit her patients financially. Well, that's a shocker. She often had them sign over their assets and estates to her control, using their weakened states to manipulate them. My God. So you gonna sign over your page today? What? No. Okay, 4 more weeks of carrot juice for you, and we'll see. 4 weeks later, you ready to sign? What? In some cases, she forged documents to gain access to her patients' wealth. That's crazy. The 1800s and early 1900s were so fucking stupid. Those times are so dumb. Yeah, I mean, she just signed over everything. Really? Well, where is she? I don't even know. I don't even know where she's at. I think she's sleeping. Well, okay, it is 1902. That's fine with me. Big stamp. Here's all the gold. Perhaps the most famous case involved the Williamson sisters, British women who came to Hazard Institute seeking treatment. Both sisters underwent fasting regimen, resulting in significant weight loss and severe malnutrition. Claire Williamson died in 1912 from severe malnutrition. She weighed only 50 pounds at the time of her death. My God, how old do you think she was?
They must be like 60, 70.
They were really that old, you think? That's like the bones probably, they probably only weighed the bones then.
Oh wait, maybe they look a little bit younger.
Because even if it's a child, that's crazy.
Looks like maybe 30, 40.
Wow, even 30 or 40 and only weighing 50 pounds, that is insane. Dorothea, who barely survived, later testified against Hazard, revealing the horrifying conditions at the institute and the extent of their suffering. And in 1912, Hazard was charged with manslaughter for the death of Claire Williamson. Witnesses testified about the severe malnutrition, lack of medical care, and financial exploitation they endured. Hazard was found guilty of manslaughter and was sentenced to a minimum of 2 years and a maximum of 20 years in prison. Once again, welcome to the early 1900s. You're either going to serve 2 years or 20 years. It's up to a coin toss. We're going to be giving that to the local clown. Go ahead, local clown. On a unicycle, juggling some like pies or whatever, and he's like, 2! Oh, well, justice fails again. And she served only 2 years before being released on parole in 1915. After her release from prison, Hazard moved to New Zealand, where she continued to promote her fasting treatments. She eventually returned to Washington and reopened her sanitarium. However, her reputation was significantly tarnished, and she faced ongoing scrutiny and criticism. Hazard continued practicing her fasting regimen until her death in 1938. Ironically, she reportedly died while attempting to undergo a fasting cure herself. I love that. It'd be funny too, as if, well, actually, that's kind of a blessing then, because if she was in prison, she probably would have ate normal and like lived a longer life. So I'm glad that got tarnished like that. Good for her. And lastly, we have Dr. Carl Tanzler. Carl Tanzler led a life filled with peculiar beliefs and action. From an early childhood and persisting as an adult, he claimed to have visions of a beautiful dark-haired woman who was destined to be his true love. Carl, me and you. You know what I think of? I think of just like putting on October Lost by Typo Negative. Just hear like running piano licks to love you to death, whatever. And just being like, there's a dark woman out there for me, Carl, don't you worry. He often referred to himself as Count Karl von Kosel, despite there being no evidence that he held really any notable title. I gotta with that. He's like, I'm the Count. This is turning into a goth thing, I'm telling you. In 1926, he immigrated to the United States, leaving behind his wife and 2 daughters in Germany. In 1930, Tanzler met Maria Elena Maragano Helen de Hoyas. Too long of a name. First off, shorten that name up real quick. Just squeeze it together. How about just Maria de Hoyos, whatever. A young Cuban-American woman who came to the hospital seeking treatment for tuberculosis, a disease that was often fatal at the time. Tanzer became infatuated with Hoyos, convinced that she was the woman from his visions. He lavished her with gifts and professed his love. Despite her lack of reciprocation and her being already married through an estranged husband, we won't go into the whole rigmarole of it, but she was married. And despite Tanzer's efforts, which included using experimental treatments and medicines, Elena Hoyos succumbed to tuberculosis on October 25th, 1931. This feels like a goth love story. Almost Halloween. Come on. Tanzler, with the permission of Hoyos' family, paid for constructed an elaborate above-ground mausoleum in Key West Cemetery to house her body. Uh-oh. Tanzler visited the mausoleum almost nightly, often serenading her with her favorite Spanish song, La Boda Negra. And in April 1933, Tanzler secretly exhumed Hoyos' body and brought it to his home. Uh-oh. Over the next several years, he attempted to preserve and restore her remains using various methods. He used wires and coat hangers to reinforce her skeletal structure. He replaced her eyes with glassed ones. He used silk cloth soaked in wax and plaster of Paris to repair her decomposed skin. And Tanzler dressed the body in fine clothes and applied perfumes, disinfectants, and preserving agents to mask the odor of decomposition. He also fashioned a wig from Hoyos' hair. Oddly romantic. Also, I just want to say I have a song called Graveyard Lover out right now on Spotify, and it's literally about a guy digging up his dead wife to have sex with her because he misses her so much. That's how serendipitous is that, all right? Which, you know, this wasn't even his wife. This was just a psychopath, but still, I digress. Tanzler lived with Hoyos' corpse for 7 years. Whoa! Sleeping beside it in his bed. He continued to care for and maintain the body, convinced that his love would eventually bring her back to life. In 1940, Hoyos' sister, suspicious after hearing rumors, discovered Tanzler's...
Oh, you can put tons of chests in them? Oh my god.
I'll be honest, if it was my sister and I found out about that, I would be pissed.
Do you think she walked in on them?
Yeah, he's naked. He's like, Maribel, close the door. Don't tell anybody. The case generates significant public interest, with many fascinated by the macabre details. Despite the bizarre nature of his actions, Tanzler received some public sympathy, as many saw his actions as those of a
sorry, I didn't mean to go
albeit
on that.
delusional lover.
Dude, that's what I'm saying, dude.
That's kind of what I'm at. I'm like, what? Dude, he loved her. Come on. They're just like, that's my sister. That's my sister. She did not want to be with him. People are like, get off of it. We're all hopeless romantics. Tanzer was charged with wantonly and maliciously destroying a grave and removing a body without authorization. But the statute of limitations had expired.
Ooh, bummer.
Oh, that's what it is? Okay.
He was not prosecuted for his actions and was released. After his release, Tanzler moved to Pasco County, Florida, where he lived a relatively quiet life. He continued to express his love for Elena Hoyos, even creating a life-size effigy of her. Before they took her body away from him, he created a death mask of her face, which was the central point of the effigy. Carl Tanzler died on July 3rd, 1952, and reports suggest he died next to the effigy of Elena, maintaining his obsession until the very, very end. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of a fucking awesome one to end on. I don't know why. I know it's sick. It's right, but in a weird way, it's darkly and grimsly romantic. It's kind of a sweet story. Which, once again, if you kind of look at it though in a realistic lens, it's just kind of fucked up, and the guy's a psychopath. But in a weird way, I don't know, kind of sweet. Am I right? I gotta say, out of all these today, the Dr. Death, the guy that was just completely incompetent, that was the most horrifying one out of all of them. Not the bitch making people drink carrot juice or any of the other lethal injections. I'm talking about the guy who's just like, oopsie, oh, I cut another artery.
I gotta pee, I'll be right back.
Taking Ryobi drills and just drilling bitches. Muscle tissues. Oh shit, I forgot to show the anesthesia.
Need to be careful.
I feel like he'd be the kind of guy too. He's listening to like Motley Crue in the operating room. The
Move the
like,
camera back up, sorry.
On the wild side. Fucking nightmare. All I know is that this conversation has left me not. I mean, I would much rather just die of a heart attack. I don't want to go to the doctor anymore. No more doctors for me, dude. Let me die suspiciously. That makes it sound like someone's gonna murder me or something. All I know is, I don't know. If you're a doctor, please don't kill me with lethal injections. Or I hope that if you're watching this, I hope that a lot of these people who have doctor's appointments coming up, you'll be fine. Take care, everyone. Good luck at your doctor's visits.
I
wish I could get out of here right now, this minute. I hate it here so bad. I can't take it, Charlie. It's really bad here. Don't ever put your love...
Oops, what happened? Don't ever what? Okay, nope. Oops. Okay, how are we doing here? Good. Just keep processing. There, better. Psyche increased to 47. Oh no. I want you to go back up. And we're going to lock you because you're as high as you can go. Animal care. I see. Writing is 100. I think I want to reduce it to 60. Or I don't know. Writing's good. Vitalism maybe next. Right now I'm learning poleaxes. Let's go get this guy's set secured. I just didn't want him to know who did it to him, you know? So I came over to a hidden place and I stayed away from him and I stayed away from the town. And I don't think he even saw me. I think that was just free loot, but I don't want to tiff with him, you know? I didn't attack him or anything at all. I set the wolf to try to help him. Oh. What? Oh, come back. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button. So take this home. I got a set, which makes up for that set I lost earlier, which is good. Didn't make up for the spear, but the sword might. The sword might make up for the spear. The Flickstone Heavy Great Blade, it might actually make up for the spear. I don't know. Because it's made. Might be able to sell it for, 15 gold or something like that, yeah. I think the sword is actually worth something. The bows, too. I don't know what bows and swords and shit are worth. Actually, I don't want this direwolf to die, so I'm just going to check him in while I do my business. I'm learning how to play the game better now. I'm understanding things a little bit better now. Yep, staple this wolf. You can't staple more pets here. Unstaple the... Oh no, I want to sell the black bear. Sell pets. Sell the black bear for... I don't know. I would recoup the loss of 50. Sell... You can't afford. Ah, so annoying. Alright, get on this wolf. It's fine. I'm just going to stay on the wolf. It's fine. So... It's fine. We'll just sit on the wolf. fucking annoying. There's so many people here. Okay, so we got to reserve this guy's set. We're going to use it. His set might be better than mine. I don't know. I currently have an Adibus, which is 21, 21, 23. This is better than that, so we'll take that. You can't wear that, huh? No. Is it because it's in the wrong storage? Oh, it is better. So his set's better. I'm going to put it on. And I'll put this set away. Okay, now this extra set goes away until I need something else. I'll put it in this one on the bottom. There, that can go in the box. This set needs to go along the bottom of here. And I have another set now. I'm going to sell his sword because I don't need it. His swords and his bows I'm going to sell to the auction. And his cuprum, yep. And then silver and copper. I want to sell that black bear, so I'm going to bring like 20 gold out there and sell that fucking black bear real quick. But first we'll do his weapons. We are selling his cuprum because I can't store it. Cuprum. Those go for 25. 25 will go for 2 golds. Okay, so sure, sell his cuprum then. 2 gold. Then this thing go. Then this thing go. And this thing I want 15 gold for. So 2 gold for. Yep. And there is everything that I want to do here. I'll eat his pig pie with white cavallo. And now we will... Oh yeah, now I need to go sell that bear. I'm going to sell a bear and a horse, actually, so I can like store things. I didn't realize what the limit was, but now I do. And I was a little bit hasty. The higher level this wolf gets, the better he handles, and I didn't know that. Let's staple him. Okay, let's sell the bear and a horse. So the black bear we know will sell for like 65 gold. 50 gold. I'm going to ask for 50. I'm going to take a loss on him just so I can get him out of here. And I'm going to sell the level 30 horse because it's too high. We'll sell him for, I don't know, 10. Something. Yeah. There we go. And then... I don't really see why I can't keep a pack of wolves. I really don't see why not. I sold the bear, right? Yes, I did. I sold the bear. I need to see what kind of wolves you have. I think I could keep 2 wolves. I don't really see why not. Well, I guess... Well, yeah, I could keep 2 wolves. I could ride on one and level the other, which is kind of crazy. But I could keep 2 wolves, like a pack of wolves. It'd be fun to have a pack of wolves. But no, micromanaging more than one is kind of like out of what I want to do. But I wouldn't mind buying a bear if there was one. Let's go look for a bear. A bear can have bags, and that's the perfect thing. I need a bear. But that level 82 bear is too high. 72, 79, 125. Well, level 1 white bear for 134. Brown bear, but boy, the prices got up really fucking high. Well, I don't know. I think 2 wolves is better. Con is locked at 109 out of 109. No, 109 is over. That's 9 points over. Reduce it. But I went too far on strength. Yeah, we want to reduce and kind of... Alright, I guess I'll go out and look for more bandits. Find a different video to watch here.
Welcome back to the...
Oops. Back to the drawing board. I went through 5 videos pretty quick. It's a quiet day. It's nice. The cut on my heel is finally starting to get there, but boy, it took a while. It took like a week. It's fucking annoying. Thank you, some ordinary gamers that like and sub to your channel.
Me, Mudahar, and I think it goes without saying that I love video gaming. And
Me too.
About a couple months ago, I made a video where I said I would just sue Ubisoft because it was all about The Crew, a video game that was this massive online live service racing title that released in 2014, got shut down a decade later, and, it basically sparked an entire campaign by a fellow YouTuber, Accursed Farms, or Ross, where they launched an initiative known as Stop Killing Games. An initiative meant to stop publishers from destroying these games and letting them rot away in the ether, completely lost to the void of time and whatnot. Now, of course, again, to preface, I enjoy video gaming, and I've been a video gamer for pretty much all of my life. And for me, a lot of my video games when I started out pretty young was playing JRPGs, role-playing games,
3060 level
player stuff. And obviously there was a period of my life where obviously I was playing on the PC, and then I switched to the Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and pretty much played a whole bunch of single-player games and the start of real online matchmaking-based multiplayer that I enjoyed for years to come. Now, today's day and age when it comes to video gaming has a lot of live service products, okay? Games that have continuous online connections and constantly evolving content as you play. So I want to start off by just mentioning the Stop Killing Games. So one of the things that, Ross had hit me up very recently, and unfortunately I didn't catch this until a couple days ago in my inbox, is he reached out to me and said, "Hey, this is Ross, the Stop Killing Games guy again. I wanted to let you know we've launched a European Citizens Initiative, where if we get a ton of signatures, there's a real chance we change EU to require publishers to let you keep your games." So basically, you've got big articles. PC Gamer wrote up, 1 million people signed this petition. A ban on rendering multiplayer games unplayable has a chance to become law in Europe. Okay, that's a pretty big deal, all right? It's making news. It's making waves. So I decided to check in, and it's got about 250,000 signatures so far, 250,000. Now, you might be expecting, whoa, Muda, you might want to hit that signature right there. Now, first off, I'm not a European Union like citizen, so I don't think I can really join into this. But even if I could, it becomes complicated. Now, since this situation, there's been a lot of other creators that I watch who've jumped into this talking about it. Very favorably in this case is obviously Louis Rossman, who has a very pro-consumer perspective when it comes to a lot of things regarding right to repair and you owning your video games. And of course, on the other end, you've got Pirate Software, Thor, who is one of the most viewed people, I would say, on YouTube Shorts. But you can see him on YouTube Shorts, and you can see him talk about independent video games. He clearly loves the industry, and he has a pretty opposite view of this entire thing. He made a 15-minute long video where he discussed this entire piece, and where I can really summarize it, he doesn't really appreciate the vagueness of this petition, of this initiative. So I wanted to really dive in and talk about this. But before we discuss this, we have to get some definitions down, okay? What is a live service game, Muda? Now, you might have heard of this term. It's a pretty dirty term. Sometimes it feels like you're using a filthy curse word, but a live service game is the best way to define it, a game that has a consistent online connection, okay? Meaning that as you play this game, you are connected to an online server somewhere out in the world. So one of the best examples I'll give you is Grand Theft Auto 5, or Grand Theft Auto Online specifically, and Rainbow Six Siege. Now, in Rainbow Six Siege's case, this is a game that when you purchase it, you are told you're not buying the game, you're buying a license to access their live service. The live service is basically the ability for you to play a 5-on-5 tactical shooter with people all over the world. Now, the way the live service model works is you have to have an online connected experience, and this experience typically involves the game evolving in a game fashion. So if you load up Rainbow Six Siege right now, you log into Operation New Blood, which is the current season of the game. Now, if you look at Rainbow Six Siege from day one of its release to right now, you're probably going to notice that these games look absolutely different. The maps have changed. The lighting models have changed, the gameplay has changed, microscopic things at times have changed, and of course, the operators keep evolving. So they have brought in new characters to play as, they have introduced new maps, reworked existing maps, and actually removed maps from the game. So when you play a game like Rainbow Six Siege, you know, in year one, for instance, it's going to be a lot different when you play it during year 4 of its life cycle, then year 8. Then year 9. So that's kind of the general idea. Now, obviously, it's unreasonable to expect any developer, as large or as small as they can be, to keep supporting these games indefinitely. At some point down the road, Rainbow Six Siege will drop off players so much that it actually costs more to run the online service for the game than it's worth actually, paying for, right? Because there's just not enough people there. And also, you're not really expecting Ubisoft to have every single build of the game active at any moment. Let's say that you enjoyed Rainbow Six Siege from like 2019. You don't like it now. Well, unfortunately, because of the live service model, you have to stick with whatever changes the publisher/developer push to the game. For something like Grand Theft Auto Online, for instance, on the other end, this is a game that has a 32-player online limit where you connect to these servers, you play with your friends, and I'm not going to immediately say it's an MMO. I have a different definition of that, which I'll get to. But Grand Theft Auto 5 is a single-player game that you can basically play from the beginning all the way to the end, and it's separate from the online. The moment you go into the online framework,
Oh, wow.
you build your character, you drive around Los Santos, you commit crimes, play with other players, PvE, PvP, so on and so forth. But you'll notice that as the years go on, Rockstar Games keeps adding new gameplay loops to GTA 5 or GTA Online. They introduce content, and in some cases even remove content. I made a video a while back where I even talked about how many cars got removed from GTA Online simply because that's just how Rockstar treated their multiplayer thing. There are pros and negatives to these live service experiences. I'm just saying not every live service experience is necessarily evil. some of these experiences can be quite successful. I've gotten thousands of hours out of GTA Online, all without purchasing a microtransaction. And for these live service games, microtransactions mean a lot, because genuinely you'll have whales or people actually purchasing a microtransaction that basically cover the cost of consistent development for the entire player base. Meaning all of us, in a perfect world, get to play all of these maps together with all of these operators, while a community of whales in the entire ecosystem pay for that development. It means the developers make consistent cash, and we all basically keep getting consistent content without necessarily paying for map packs, expansions, all just to be in the same scope. Obviously, some live service games exist where expansion packs are a thing, like Destiny, for instance. But that's genuinely, from my experience, the exception, not the norm. So going back to Stop Killing Games, one of the principal things was the game known as The Crew. The video game The Crew, published by Ubisoft, was recently destroyed for all players and had a player base of at least 12 million people. Due to the game's size and France's strong customer protection laws, this represents one of the best opportunities to hold a publisher accountable. So one of the things that I have an issue with is when you read the words 12 million people. Those are just sales. Around the tail end of the Crew life cycle, if you actually look at Steam charts, which is, again, just one example of people playing on the PC. Obviously, the game was released on Ubisoft and other platforms, but let's look at how many people were playing the Crew. So when you look at the Crew, typically around its release on Steam, December 2014, it had 12,000 something players. And obviously around 2018, when this massive drop-off occurred, this is when Ubisoft released the Crew 2 and then later the Crew Motorsport. So the amount of players that existed at this point, at least on Steam, did not show a significant amount of players. And this was obviously not worth more than paying to keep the game alive. And obviously the Crew being a racing game with real-world vehicles, they had to worry about licensing costs and everything else. So eventually Ubisoft pulls the plug for this multiplayer, live service game that they had. Now this is where I sort of deviate from Thor or Pirate Software's example. Now obviously when you're developing a game, what happens with multiplayer stuff is client server-side development, so sometimes there is genuine calculations that are happening on a server. And obviously the client in this situation simply communicates back and forth with the server to get, whatever it needs just to keep the game functioning. Now, it could be argued that the Crew, this racing game, probably could have calculated a lot of that logic on the actual box itself, like on your local system. So you could just play the game's campaign and the game's single-player components basically by yourself without ever needing to worry about the multiplayer. Now, depending on how they coded the Crew, maybe this was possible, maybe it wasn't. But one of the actual, mentions in this entire initiative is that towards the end of life, maybe it should be the responsibility of these publishers or developers, at least as large as Ubisoft, to find and finance some sort of way to keep offline functioning. So when I'm reading through this entire piece, what they basically said in the FAQ for the Stop Killing Games is an increasing number of video games are designed to rely on a server the publisher controls in order for the game to function. So what I think they're kind of referring to, and obviously it can sound somewhat vague, is you could look at this in a million ways. It could, at worst, be when a developer makes a single-player game, genuinely could be played by just, a couple of your friends. So, for instance, imagine if, Gearbox, when they were releasing Borderlands 3, decided to make this a live service experience. Yet you could still only play with 4 people at any given moment. What that would basically sound like is they're taking a single player, type game and just adding online DRM, like this forced connection or forced server requirement, just so you would have to be connected to their server. Now, I guess one could compare this to something like Elden Ring, right? Which there is an online,
The asteroid is depleted.
there is an online component to Elden Ring, a pretty big online component. You got co-op, you got PvP, you've got entire quest lines that involve you communicating with other players. That doesn't mean that if you don't have an internet connection for some reason, or if you're like me underneath Linux using a certain mod to get super ultra widescreen, basically cut off yourself from the internet, that game doesn't function. Obviously, Elden Ring and any of FromSoft's titles can function without an internet connection. You just miss out on that significant online component that those games provide. It doesn't mean that those games can't process a lot of that game logic, like AI and whatnot, locally. Now, obviously, the way that The Crew, Elden Ring, and even Borderlands 3 are all programmed in different fashions. But the way that Stop Killing Games describes it, or at least that is the worst example that I'm giving you. That is the most evil version of online only DRM affecting titles. Now on the other end, you also have games like MMORPGs. Now imagine something like, I don't know, World of Warcraft. Now you probably can expect that those games have thousands of players built into them. It's not just the fact that those are online games, it's just that those are also games that require you to be connected online to the functionality, the core identity of that game is centered around you being, in a pool of players doing group events together. There are entire economies in MMORPG games where tens of thousands of players participate in jobs online, like carpentry, like coal mining, like cooking, to create items, putting them on an entire internet storefront within the game, and selling them in auction houses. There are economies, there are guilds, there are entire reasons for MMO games being these multiplayer focused experiences that just can't be replicated in these single player settings. So there is a lot of vagueness that I think should be addressed going forward into the Stop Killing Games stuff. I'm not against this idea in practice. I want video games to be preserved, but I understand that live service and online only experiences involve a lot of games where they have legitimate need for it. Games like Pokemon Go, mobile titles for instance, where a lot of the online only functionality, the need for you to be connected to the server are important and are basically the groundwork for those amazing mobile experiences or MMO era experiences. So inside over here, when they're asking, aren't you asking companies to support games forever? Isn't that unrealistic? We're not asking that at all. We're in favor of publishers ending support for a game whenever they choose. What we're asking for is that they implement an end-of-life plan to modify or patch the game so that it can run on computer systems with no further support from the company being necessary.
What does that sound?
We agree it is unrealistic to expect
What the
companies
fuck
to
was
support
that?
games indefinitely and do not advocate for that in any way. Additionally, there are real-world examples of publishers ending supports for online games. So some of those games are Gran Turismo Sport. Now, Gran Turismo Sport is a racing game where a lot of the AI, I believe, is easily calculated, or in fact is calculated locally on your consoles anyways. All that Sony was basically doing was detaching that metagame online-only DRM and basically giving access to a majority of the content back to the players who locally had that game anyway through a patch. Which, while again it's not perfect, the game probably shouldn't have had those online connections to begin with, and maybe it's worth targeting those games specifically, but the patch is an ideal, thing. What this campaign or initiative wants to do is get politicians to create laws that make this more of a requirement rather than a company basically.
Hey, leveled. Yay.
So one of the things they mention is, isn't it impractical, if not impossible, to make online-only games work without company servers? Not at all. The majority of online games in the past function without.
This is where I want to live. This is where I want to live.
Customers privately hosting servers themselves and connecting to each other.
That guy's
Games that
home.
were designed this way are still playable today. So what they're basically referring to is,
Or no, maybe it's a
let's say
monument,
League of Legends,
actually.
for example, right? Now, League of Legends is a multiplayer game.
Yep, I want to live
But
right
in order
here.
to play League of Legends, you got to make an account.
Right here.
You got to connect through Riot Games. You got to run their launcher, and all of the actual processing is handled on their servers. All of the games you run, even if they're with bots, are run on their servers. Now, in comparison, something like Counter-Strike, for instance, you can download the client and you can host games over local area network, LAN connections, and play them without ever needing Valve, all right? You can basically host a server on your local box and invite people locally to connect to you. There are games with dedicated server, binaries.
That people
where you
still
can
do.
launch them,
Yep.
basically run servers and
Oh,
then
yeah.
have people around the world connecting to you directly. There are a lot of Minecraft servers, for instance, that are
Yes.
run. I have a Minecraft server that
Whoa,
I run
what the
in
fuck
my
was that?
basement. Anybody can
Whoa.
connect to that server, and it's
Whoa.
independent of
I'm gonna
voting
die, huh? Oh god. What the
that's
fuck?
what they're referring to. And obviously,
Where is
I would
my
prefer
fucking wolf?
every game to have dedicated server options and LAN functionality. But depending on how that game is programmed or how it's designed, maybe it's not as much of a possibility. And obviously, you can't be expecting this for games that are MMOs. Where a lot of that information can be proprietary.
Good fight, guys.
Blizzard, or you don't expect, Square Enix to be handing out these server packages for Final Fantasy 14 Online, or Blizzard when it comes to World of Warcraft. There are, again, issues when it comes to giving your IP out in that way. So when they discuss large-scale MMOs, isn't it impossible for customers to run those when servers are shut down? Not at all. Limitations can apply. Several MMORPGs that have been shut down have seen server emulators emerge that are capable of hosting thousands of other players just on a single user system. Not all will be this.
Well, I aggro like,
for extra demanding video
or I just passed by a trio. It got wasted, and it felt like Rust.
So what they said is,
And it was surprising, and I was AFK dealing with EvE, and I deserved it, and then you know what? It was okay. I got some bandit stuff done, and I even like got some leveling stuff and clayed, and I got some interesting gear out there. It was fun as hell. Gotta make sure that I'm totally ready. Yeah, I'm totally ready. Okay, here we go. Scary time, putting 330 at risk to go get 55 or whatever. But it's alright, it's worth it. Okay, no one's here. Take me to the anomaly. Warp to within 10.
Warp drive active.
Oh, I should have pumped my mech warp drive. I'm running risk here. I need to actually think about what I'm doing. Yeah, aligning this thing can take so long. But this will just jump this whole thing up. There we go. Bye. Okay, running the D-scan. We see nobody. So I am safe to scoop this. Only the cargo container. That's it. Cargo container is 146. Approach. Run the hardeners. This thing goes 800, which is fucking awesome. It would just D-scan, and if anybody shows up, we cloak. This is nerve-wracking, so I'm just going to pay attention to something else. He knocked me off my goddamn wolf. Sure, fuck him. That they're going to treat people like that. Take the hit, bitch. I was out there AFK. It's a shame. I worked on that wolf for a long time, so what I get, though. Oh, phone's ringing. 8:53. Uh-oh. Hello? Terribly sorry, guys. Gotta go. Oh, no. Oh, no. What? No! Okay, interdiction. Duck.
Warp drive active.
Please. I'm gonna lose this! How did I lose this? I couldn't jump. I couldn't jump. I couldn't jump. I lost at 330. How did this guy find me? There was nothing on T-Scan. There was nothing. There was nothing. How did you find me? What? Oh my god. Fucking so annoying. Motherfucker, dude. Oh my god. God damn it, I got a phone call. Ugh. Great, there goes 330 million because I got a fucking phone call. Son of a fucking bitch. Son of a bitch. Son of a fucking bitch.
You cannot cloak your ship as you are being targeted by someone.
Yeah, you're toxic, yeah. Ah, damn it, man. I got a phone call, grats. Son of a fucking bitch. I should have cloaked. I should have cloaked the moment the phone rang. You called within the second that the gank was coming. How do you do this to me? God damn it. How do you constantly do this to me? I want to see if I can make it. Fuck it. I gotta put my shoes on anyways. Fuck this guy. A line to the station. A line, right? A line. 3. It's not gonna happen, is it? Yeah, I gotta try. I can't, huh? I gotta try. 2, 1. Come on, man. Please. Okay, here it comes.
Warp drive active.
I got away! I got away. She didn't fuck me after all. I got away. Yeah, I got away. I probably lost the 50 million, but I didn't lose the 330. I got away. God fucking damn it. Now I have to take this shit back to High Sec TV. Or no, maybe I can actually repair it at a Mobile Depot. No, not a Mobile Depot, no. Yeah, just dock. Yeah. No, I know what I'll do. I'll jump out. I'll dock up.
Requested.
Nice try. Nice fight. Nice try. Thank you. I got away.
Docking request accepted.
I got away, I got away, I got away, I got away. I got away. Yeah, I'm going to have a tomato on that. Tomato and homemade food. I'm going to have homemade food and I got away. Beef stroganoff and blueberry frozen stuff. All right, now, to assess the damage, this guy's pissed at me. He probably popped the box. I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't know how he found me. I don't know how it came in so fast. It was like I descanned. There was nothing. I answered the phone. I talked for 15, 30 seconds, something like that. I look up, dude's on top of me, and I just don't understand that. I've never understood it. I swear to God, I think it's cheating. I've always thought it was cheating. It's fucking weird. They show up on top of you like out of nowhere like a demon, and it's like, nah, inside of the 10 seconds that I was on the phone call, you did? Okay, I guess it was just random. It was just random. Okay, so we go back out. Now, no, what did you do? You didn't... I told you to get in this goddamn ship. Get in this fucking ship now. Do as I fucking say. Get in the ship now. Get in the ship now, motherfucker. You won't do it, huh? You just won't do it. You won't... Okay, leave this ship. Nope, you're glitched. You're glitched or something dumb. Just quit. Your client has fucked up or something. Something is going on. Yep, you can see it again. What is going on? I don't understand. Where are you? Here, you. I want you to look at the... Oh, no. But keep working. And you, I want you to... Oops. Yeah, did you finally close or whatever? Yeah, I think you did. So, okay, play. You glitched. I got away. But it also inconveniences me, of course, as usual. They can't, right?
Connecting.
Let's go see if he popped the box. I'm sure he fucking did. I'm sure he fucking did. So you're like glitched or slow or something. Fucking annoying. It's annoying those fuckers found me. Now I feel like running out there with a spear and just stabbing bandits and stuff, but I need this. I need a set. And everything's costing money. Maybe I should just chop trees for a little bit, huh? Just to make up for it, like get these stacks full so I can sell them for 200 each. And if I have 900 gold, it's going to feel better about buying sets like this over and over again. But I feel like it's now time to do some farming. It's, you know, it's that time. I'm naked. I got my ass reamed. I guess the cycle is sort of like, if you're naked, go chop trees until you have stacks. When you have stacks, sell them for 600 gold. Buy a set for 25 gold. Buy another set for 25 gold. Buy another set for 25 gold every time some fucking PvP idiot fucks with you. Buy another 25 gold, another 25 gold. Here's 3 dudes, have fun. They 3v1'd you. Buy another set for 25. Buy another set for 25. Buy another set for 25. You don't have a melee weapon equipped. Okay. We're gonna mute you now. We're gonna turn off the sounds of the game. Sure. Yeah, I don't like the nature sounds. But anyways, I do, but they get kind of they get kind of cloying after a while. They kind of like they kind of stick after a bit. Okay, so now I am an adventurer. I want to go down there and see what the damage is. If you fuck with me, you will not let me right click. What are you doing? It's as if a button is stuck or something. Is it something on my keyboard?
Autopilot engaged.
Nope. Wait. Nope. Stop. Return to game. Now Z.
Autopilot
Now
disabled.
stop.
No waypoint set.
What is it that you're doing? Like, no. Okay, can you right click now? No, you can't. You can't right click anymore. What are? I mean, what? Oh, did this mouse not charge? I remember getting this problem the other day. Is the mouse totally dead? God damn it. What? Okay, now, did I crash out? Oh, I don't know. But anyways, oh yeah, we DC, did we? What? I mean, what? No, come back. No, you have 82%. That's not it. It's something else. No, my right click is fine. It was Eve. Like Eve DC'd or something dumb. God damn it. I don't know. I don't think Eve's doing so well with my VPN, but that'll disconnect me. But it won't disconnect me for long. It'll just be a second. No, we'll try relogging one more time. I think I actually micro disconnected there for some reason. I don't know why, but yes, you. Play. Constant software fucking problems. I swear to God, constant software problems. Connect to server. Am I DC'd? Where's my OBS? Come on, show me it. You close window. You show me. No, I'm fine. My signal's fine. It's mortal DC'd or something like that. Yeah, am I logging in? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I think you're lying. I think you lie. Connection to the server was closed. Connect. Let's see what my signal is. Yeah, you say my speed's fast, but I don't know. Let's quit you entirely and disconnect for a minute. Yeah. Let's come back and try this. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Authenticate. What are we doing here? I want you to quit. You understand that I'm in the launcher? Yeah, I'm in the launcher. Go. You are annoying. Connect to server. There you go. Fucking annoying. I are 0, but can you come back? No, you're probably black screened. That's alright. Let's go kill it. I thought I told you to enter. No? Authenticating.
Server allows 5,000 people. Maybe a local version of that server emulator can support 500. So one of the examples I want to compare over here is one known as The Matrix Online. Now, you probably never played this MMORPG, and I wouldn't fault you for it. But this is an example of when a game gets shut down by, and I believe the publisher in this was Sony Online Entertainment. What people had done was they had reverse engineered the actual server files, and you can download them, run them, and basically play the Matrix Online MMO right now, if you wanted to, locally on a system, or maybe even invite some of your friends. Now, right now, nobody's playing this fucking dog shit online, but that doesn't mean that nobody wants to play. You could download and experience this if you wanted to. So, Project Meteor, for instance, if you wanted to play the original version of Final Fantasy XIV, which doesn't exist anymore, remember Final Fantasy
Oh, yeah, the original fucking version of 14. Wait, that exists? Project Meteor server. Project Meteor server. A server emulator for 14 1.23b. If you want to discuss and help, please help the to compile and install instructions. Classic. Welcome to the Project Meteor server, a server emulator for 14 1.23b. If you wish to discuss and help, please join the Discord server. Pull request. That was when 14 was good. I liked 14 when it was originally out. I actually really fucking liked it. It was actually really good. But it didn't, but it just wouldn't play on the modern computers. Now it will. Project Meteor. Yep, and there's your problem. I can't believe that exists. I cannot believe that exists. That's insane. Well, you learn something new every day. Okay, what else now? We will come back to the EvE Online. We will get in and we will try to load. Why did you disconnect me?
Released, absolutely had a terrible launch. Then it got rebranded and re-released as a Realm Reborn. But if you want to play that original version, there is a project emulator that exists. You can get this operating and up and running and play this by yourself. And there's footage of this individual, Dark Fusion, who actually put together a quick Final Fantasy 1.0 build and actually loaded it up and started playing the game. So you can play this original version of the game, which I guess technically means that it is a preserved version of Final Fantasy XIV. And sometimes what'll happen is with certain games that are online only, like MMOs, like Dragon Quest X, what'll happen is a single-player standalone...
That was before ARR, when the combat was actually good. But if it's all glitchy and fucked up and dumb, it'll suck. But yeah, I don't like modern 14. I like the original. I hyped the original version of 14 because I thought it was going to be 11 with good graphics, and it kind of was. And then they ruined it. Like when it hit, it was far too intensive on most people's computers. Was the big problem. And then and there was no content at all. But I mean, like that's okay from a single player's perspective. It's not really okay from an MMO player's perspective, but it's okay from a single player's perspective because it was still a fairly good game. Like, let's go back and take a look at Final Fantasy 14, Final Fantasy 14 1.0 combat, right? Hard mode battle. Why shouldn't research mechanics during combat, right? Why did it need a complete overhaul? Why did 1.0 need was such as the one needed to complete the work of but normally most games are not so good at it was met with the long cutscene shouldn't be a truly epic battle. before and after auto attack was implemented. Yep. Battle system before, right? Yeah, it was good. See, it was good. This game was good when it first came out. It just they just mismanaged it so badly. Yeah, you get these abilities that you can do every once in a while. It was fun. This was so much more fun. Yeah, but how high can you go? This was so much better. This was so much better than ARR. Why did they break it? This was the game that I hyped for 5 fucking years, and I was right to hype it. It was an amazing game. Like it was good when they originally did it. But then they were like, oh, we have to compete with WoW, so we're just gonna make it like WoW. And they did. They made it like WoW. Wait, these are level 42s. Shit, maybe I want to do 1.0C or whatever. Yeah, when you pop a skill, it feels so impactful, yeah. A more playable game for the masses, yeah. Yeah, the stamina system is kind of neat. Yeah, I prefer FFXI combat, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Okay, so maybe I should try Project Meteor server guide on maybe I should try this maybe. Project Meteor install guide. How to play in 2022, okay.
Hello and welcome everyone. Today I'm excited to show you how to get Final Fantasy XIV version 1.23b running on your own PC. This is actually a video I thought about doing for a while, and with a lot of viewers...
Oh, you have to run a server, huh? That's no good.
Now's the best time for it. Keep in mind that this will not fully replicate the 1.0 era experience, as many server-side data hasn't been implemented.
Yeah.
What you will be able to do is watch all the cutscenes, walk around the world, interact with the NPCs, and even combat. The combat I'll do in the next tutorial video.
Yeah, this is no good. 12 is better. Probably looks better, honestly. Nope. This isn't good enough. It sucks that they killed the things that we loved. I hyped Final Fantasy 14 for 5 years, and I got my friend to spend like $3,000 on a gaming rig, and it didn't pan out. Even that gaming rig struggled with that game. It was a brand new computer rig, and it still wouldn't run Final Fantasy 14. It sucks. Being an MMO fan, you know. "14 recognizes 1.0 character data." That's hilarious. A server emulator for Final Fantasy 14 1.23b, but it's yeah, but if you want to just take a look, is what they keep saying. If you want to just take a look, it's a dead end. It's unfortunate. That kind of swing combat is hard to get. You know, it's fucking annoying. Maybe I should buy Guild Wars 1. Getting started in 2023, that's funny. Yeah, there's a way to, yeah. You are loading really slowly for some fucking weird reason. Maybe my internet's like acting up again. I don't know. It looks fine to me. What happened here? You have now black screened. What the fuck are you doing?
Area, and only party members who joined you before entering this area will be with you, but don't worry, it's a good thing because others can't steal your drops or they can't kill monsters before you. Okay, so how can you attack a monster or something? First of all, you need a weapon to be able to attack. The very first quest will provide you with some beginner weapons. All you have to do is equipping one of them. Go to your inventory, double left click, and then you can use them.
Is server
To attack
down?
an enemy, you need to target it first. It can be done either by left click or by the C letter, which targets the closest enemy, or with pressing the tabulator button or simply pressing spacebar. If you are close enough for an enemy, it also works. Notice how the game gives me an auto target here.
Oh, yeah, quit the game here. What happened here? Did you DC? Oh no. You just went quiet. What happened to that music you were playing?
Notice how the game gives me an auto target here.
Then it goes quiet. I do. Yeah, it's interesting. So what do? I go to here and I load EvE. $4,000 hours. God dang. Alright, sell, no, buy, oh, no. Okay, get back to work. No, are we out of fire crystals or copper ingots? No, we're not out of copper ingots. We're out of, well, there's silver ore, so run that. Okay, move to a different tree now. And we will get some thousands or hundreds of gold, I mean. Excuse me. That's an interesting system.
It tries to hit you, but it can't.
What an interesting system that is. Wait, I want to see the archer system again. Way he does this movie.
It tries to hit you, but it can't. And this way you don't suffer any damage. Quite many of the professions has blocking skills, but rangers and warriors are really good at this. If your enemy blocks your attack, a small block text appears above the target's head, and in PvP blocking is especially useful. In the game, most skills give a percentage of block, and they stack multiplicatively. So if a skill gives you 50% chance to block and another skill gives you another 50, you won't get 100% chance to block, just 75. Usually miss happens if you are blind or if you are suffering from a hex. Blindness gives 90% chance to miss attacks, and projectile spells also have a greater chance to miss. Being obstructed means that physical object is between you and your target.
Warp drive active.
Conditions are type of negative effect that is mostly caused by a skill, unless there is an environment effect like a poisonous swamp or lava and you get burning. Conditions are extremely useful in PvP, and every condition has its own sign on the target's health bar, and if you are suffering from one, it's
Oh wow,
visible
did they
in the
not
top
mess
left
with the
corner.
container or what?
Conditions has a duration after they simply
Amicus
disappear,
Navy issue.
and in theory you could make infinite long conditions, but in reality the game doesn't let you to do that.
You cannot warp
After
there
12
because natural
hours,
phenomena are disrupting
they
the ship.
simply stop.
It's probably too old. Thank you, Ghost Charm. I've liked this sub to your channel.
The word obscure is highly subjective, especially when we were talking about something like video games, because what is to me some random forgotten Sega Saturn shoot-'em-up could be the crown jewel of another person's entire childhood. And the fact of the matter is there are hundreds of thousands of video games out there, with so many different ways that you might be exposed to one. Could be through a friend, a family member, a weird gift you got for your birthday back in 1998, the box art of something in the back rooms of Toys R Us catching your eye as a kid for whatever reason. Every single game means something to someone. But in this kind of vast ocean of video games, below that surface level of classic beloved titles, there exists some strange and unknown depths, full of things that are off the beaten path for the typical person in this hobby. And while I admit that a lot of it is just terrible, there exists pockets of extremely high quality, deeply interesting titles that have simply fallen by the wayside and been played by far fewer people than they deserve. Some call them hidden gems, forgotten classics, or today we are going to be talking about some obscure video games. Now, to be very, very clear, this is not going to be a video full of games that you have never heard of in your life. You may have even played a couple of these, but I simply want to recommend to you, from my personal experience, some stuff that I think is definitely obscure that I have loved in some way, shape, or form, in the hopes that you and others might check them out. Because in this modern age we live in, with cutting-edge emulation software and more powerful hardware than ever before, dude, we are drowning in abundance with enough games available to last several lifetimes over. So welcome, everyone. I am Ghost, your host, as always. Now please join me as we take a stroll down the strange back roads of gaming to share and discover some masterfully crafted but sadly forgotten experiences. Well, if you know me and you know this channel, you would know that I am big, and I mean big, on RPGs, so that feels like the perfect place to start off with this video. I mean, the stories, the world building, the game systems, and of course, the lore, son. And let me tell you, there are a ton of games I thought about highlighting here, but I did decide to trim it down to just 6 titles, starting with The Temple of Elemental Evil, developed by Troika Games and published by Atari, released on PC back in 2003. Now, even though I would say this is a very, very obscure game, this is entirely based on the beloved Dungeons & Dragons tabletop module of the very same title, written by Gary Gygax himself. And the development of this game was led by industry legend Tim Kaine, who created the original Fallout titles. But if I'm honest, man, Temple of Elemental Evil is rather, hardcore, let's just say. Now, this game was the first of very few to use the 3.5 edition rule set of Dungeons & Dragons, which many people consider to be the best version of D&D. But in my opinion, it is extremely rule-heavy and dense. So I find this game kind of requires a good base knowledge of 3.5, or at least a general knowledge of D&D going into, to really enjoy to the fullest. Well, story-wise, you begin in a town called Homlin, but the moral alignment of your party, which you create in the opening, completely dictates how you begin your travels, with 9 different possible game openings, which I love. I think that's so cool. And that alignment system remains a huge theme throughout the entire game, which really encourages multiple playthroughs, which is another thing I always enjoy. Well, basically, something in this town is off. You know, evil is afoot, which leads you and your party eventually to the titular temple to uncover what's really going on. But holy smokes, there's a ton of player choice involved at every turn. I mean, so many different ways to approach each quest and deal with each encounter. Now, I do find the combat systems to be extremely fun and deep and perfectly adapted from that 3.5 rule set, if you can get past these weird-ass, like, radial menus. Kind of annoying, I don't know. And while I do think the art style and the music remain absolutely top-notch even today, the story can be a little bit harder to get into. But if you can crack in, there is a ton to enjoy there as well. I really just think, generally, this is a great, great RPG. Now, sadly, what kind of tossed this game into obscurity was an extremely rushed development cycle, which led to innumerable game-breaking bugs and a pretty rough launch. But thanks to modern patches, most of, if not all of those bugs can be remedied and the game played in a pretty stable state. It's available right now on GOG for only like $6, so I mainly recommend this one to anyone who is a hardcore CRPG fan, a D&D person, or really anyone looking for like an isometric, sometimes hardcore experience. Now next up is a game called Energy Breaker, developed by Neverland and published by Taito, released in 1996 on the Super Famicom in Japan only, but a game that has since been translated into English thanks to the very hard work of fans on an easily implemented modern patch. Now this game is sick, man. It came out in the age of like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, and so many other classic retro role-playing masterclasses that found worldwide success, which is definitely what hurts sales and any potential popularity. But Energy Breaker defies like all the norms of its era with its combat system. Now, it's very reminiscent of Tactics Ogre and Final Fantasy Tactics at first glance, in that it's grid-based and turn-based, but with a kind of twist that I have just never seen in any other game, period. Basically, you build your character...
I'm gonna haul this ore out.
Allocated
Just because I have to repair this Akator, I have to go back. It's so stupid, I can't...
both positive and negative fashions.
Can mobile depots repair?
This is going to unlock certain abilities that you're then able to cast in combat, with your journey very naturally having you find grimoires which show you the balances needed to unlock certain moves. For instance, the ability called Aqua Zone is only available if you have a character with 4 positive in fire and 4 negative in water. But additionally, within combat, you have something called action points, which are just the things that allow you to do stuff, like move and attack, but it's all directly tied to your remaining health. This means that characters become less and less useful as they near death, which seems like duh. It should be RPG. So healing is essential, and so is having a plan. I mean, this game made me think and strategize in very, very unique ways, and I really love that. And I think that is enough to recommend Energy Breaker.
So I'm moving at 37.5.
Also pretty original and interesting. Although I will warn you that your protagonist does have amnesia, which is like the most tired cliche in the history of video games, but that's okay with me. Super interesting concepts explored with fun characters and a satisfying overall arc. I also think the artwork here is just stunning for 1996. Like, everything just pops. But the one thing I will say I hate about Energy Breaker is the dog water poo-poo inventory system, dude. It's just not good. I mean, you can carry so few things, which is cruel as hell, because this happens to be a world that's chock full of hidden items, like literally all over the place. But you're going to be constantly juggling your shit and making tough calls on what to leave behind. It's just inexcusable. But regardless, Energy Breaker is absolutely still worth playing today if you like tactical RPGs like Fire Emblem, classics like Chrono Trigger, and just want to experience a really, really original take on that sort of combat formula. Next up is something a little bit more recent, and it's Operencia: The Stolen Sun, released on PC and Xbox just back in 2019 from developer Zen Studios. And this is a full-on indie-made RPG dungeon crawler set in a very traditional fantasy realm and plays really similar to games like Bard's Tale or Legend of Grimrock. And man, I gotta say, I really enjoyed this game, but I don't think I have seen or heard more than like 2 or 3 mentions of it over the last 5 years here on the internet, period. Which is just a damn shame, because Operencia is simple, it's fun, it's comforting, and it's super duper charming. I do admit it's not as deep or punishingly difficult as other traditional grid-based dungeon crawlers, but I think that's a good thing if you're looking for a game that's a bit more laid back in that same style. Also, even though you're very much moving on a grid, there's a kind of fluidity to the way you are permitted to look around that gives Operencia a much more modern and smooth feel. Also, I mean, look at it. The presentation of this world is great, with these amazing 2D cutout style cutscenes to kind of establish the narrative, which is all heavily inspired by Hungarian folklore. But that is then contrasted with really, really pleasant as hell environments and interesting creature design. The battle system is turn-based, with these kind of tiered battlefields where enemies are either close, middle, or far, which of course is going to impact various aspects of weapon and skill usage as far as range. The setting is called, well, Operencia, and it's a land where the Sun King has been abducted, leaving the world in perpetual darkness. Well, that sucks, so it's up to you and your group of actually pretty memorable companions to embark on a quest and crawl through some dungeons, baby. But I do think where games like this are often about that exploration and progression in the dungeons, Operencia leans a bit more heavily into the narrative characters, which I would say works for me about 85% of the time for every character experience it's offering. Now, fellas, ladies, if we're free studios and the piece 1 and 2 all come from games of old, typically found on Dungeons and Dragons consoles, took on those two worlds and created itself plane. It's all outer shell, which could set out to make sure it would be fun for that big whopper. And although the combat isn't the most exciting, the further I like I've ever played. It also did get a nice developer. But for today's video, I think we're going to stick to the PC version because I can't find my N-Gage, man, sorry. But this is yet another 3, but it is now available in 4K on Steam as well. And let me start off by telling you why I think this game was forgotten by time. It released
Restless of Fate was good.
Of Final Fantasy 13, which,
yep.
I mean, looking back now is a bit of a hit or miss game, but holy smokes, at the
I
time,
love
Final
13.
Fantasy 13 was one of the biggest hype trains of that generation or ever. Plus, I mean, the cover art of Resonance of Fate and the general aesthetic wasn't doing it any favors as far as standing out from the other competition. So you gotta believe me here, man. This game is special. It takes place in like this bleak, far future Earth where
Yukinori,
has affected the climate of the planet to the point of making the world hostile to human life. So this huge air purification tower system was created and a city built in and around it, where each person born has their social status sort of predetermined at birth. Well, of course, the higher up this tower you go, the more powerful and influential the people are, and there's even sort of like a deification of that very purification system going on. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but just know that the game world here is extremely unique and bleak, while the themes explored in the story are nuanced and philosophical. Now, to be fair, I think once you get into the meat of the story, things can be a little uneven pacing-wise here and there, but it's just so different from other JRPGs that it's hard not to be intrigued from beginning to end. But the real star of the show for me is the combat, dude. It's a mix of real-time and turn-based in something they call the tri-attack system, which is a little bit jarring at first, but dude, once you get the hang of it, it somehow just never feels repetitive, even though objectively the combat is repetitive, if that makes sense. And ultimately, it ends up just feeling comfortably like JRPG turn-based combat, but in this kind of flowy worlds and environmental storytelling.
I beat that game.
Some of the most magical experiences on offer in this hobby. You know, a way to original novels, and they were very classic point-and-click adventures. With all the
I beat Discworld.
And got ports onto the GBA and mobile devices back in 2004. Now I know what
I'm sure a series of fortunate events is really good.
Series, movie.
What's wrong with that?
And lastly, I bring to you an ancient relic from a forgotten time. A dusty, old, whimsical tome of an adventure game that sadly becomes more Imperial Rome, baby. But the game world here is hunting for backstabs. They're gonna let you hear it. But one thing I think everyone here knows what only now with financial not mean that what's here isn't fun and still worth checking out. Now this is a cartoony, light-hearted, tactical turn-based shooter, very similar to something like XCOM.
Yeah, Battlegrounds was a good game.
Pastimes known to man sort of perpetually marching against each other. But your duelist also can swing their weapon around to defend themselves, and well, if you have played Magic, you would know that you need mana to cast spells, and the game adapts this mechanic into mana crystals.
Why don't they do this more?
That you need to go run and physically.
No, I've not played this. This is Magic the Gathering Battlegrounds, huh?
In order to cast the abilities you have on hand. But just like the real card game, you can also mix spell books. I mean, red and white, black and green, whatever.
Interesting, but it's still a bastardized like sort of thing. It doesn't stick to the rule set. That sucks.
Works really, really well. You control one of 5 clans of goblins in a sort of resource gathering race, and then because I'll know, Scrapland is a game that I honestly cannot believe is as obscure as it is. Now this came out in 2004 for PC and Xbox, and just in 2021 finally got a modern release on Steam, so it is fully. Next up is a game simply titled Silver, a sort of action RPG released in 1999 on the Dreamcast and PC from developing balance to the world. But the gameplay is way more engaging to me than the typical turn-based thing in the same vein. Video. Gladius earlier with the audience, where if you please them, they throw you weapons and healing items and stuff, which east to Argus, a small island in the Mediterranean Sea. And let's be very, very honest here. The art style and presentation looks exactly, and I mean exactly, like probably dozens of other video games. Honestly, there is...
Yep, yes it does. It was a good video though, I liked it. But obscure wasn't really what I'm seeking necessarily. Oh, there's a new wavy web surf.
Today we'll be investigating
Yes.
a bizarre corner
5 hours ago. Oh, he's looking skinny. I'm gonna get like that too. Yeah, he's been at it probably about a year or two, like longer than I have. But yeah, I'm gonna get skinny like that too. Fuck him. God damn it, man. Been annoying with this fucking cut on my heel. It's like it really set me back like 10 days. It was frustrating. Fucking annoying. It's literally affected my mood. Haven't been able to get out like I want to.
Of videos and social media accounts created and operated by individuals actively serving time behind bars. Incarcerated influencers, as I like to call them, exist thanks to the prevalence of smuggled contraband cell phones. And the stuff that they're uploading to the internet ranges from brazenly stupid to genuinely intriguing. You know, considering the confined nature of the uploaders and the covert methods that they have to use to get this stuff online. It's fascinating. From convicted killers taking to Facebook Live and issuing threats to folks on the outside, to bizarre convict blogs showcasing smuggled in Zaxby's fried chicken.
What?
Masked anonymous figures showcasing prison food right here on YouTube. Some crazy stuff. Today I'd like to introduce...
Oh, you know, but I didn't finish the other video first. Before we jump to this, I'm going to finish the other one.
Version of the game will even be in development, just so people who wanted to play that content can actually play a mainline version of a long-running JRPG series offline. So, where they're right about that whole, like, server emulator stuff, the reason I'm bringing this up is to, again, bring the nuance. I feel like a lot of how this is written is with people who have grown up in a similar... vacuum like me, and have played a lot of these games and have experienced some of these server emulators and patches for a lot of these video games. Obviously, the world we live in now is a bit different, but that's why this initiative exists, because this serves more for me as some level of course correction. I think, in this situation, Pirate Software is a little bit right in that maybe the scope should be more directed towards the real bad actors in the situation. Because look, not all live service software is bad. Not all MMORPGs are terrible.
Nope.
If we're forcing
ESO's fine.
To be, thinking
very honest game.
Life, then
76.
Maybe there should be a distinction between
76 is an honest game. I mean, it wasn't honest when it started, but it's honest now. 14, I would say, is sort of dishonest in the respect that they're like, I don't know. That I feel that they basically stole their gameplay loop from WoW. And I don't know. I don't know. I struggle with others. I keep trying to add other MMOs to my list, but I don't think most of them are good enough. Sometimes I think about EverQuest, but it's still not good enough. It's not good enough for me. EverQuest, RuneScape, they're not good enough for me. It's annoying.
Between publishers or developers that sell software that very clearly signals that it is a license, it is meant for multiplayer only, and if that advertising is properly reflected, like one of the things that I hate when I go out and purchase a video game physically is when it comes to a lot of these live service experiences, it almost feels like the words internet required and live service is so hidden on the box that it might not even be noticeable to a lot of people who are purchasing video games, right? Like, for instance, if you go out and buy Metal Gear Survive, it's a live service experience that I absolutely would love to guarantee doesn't even need the internet to function, but it's one of those experiences where it requires the internet, literally, in my opinion, as a DRM, more so than it actually needing internet functionality. But if you were to go up to the store, and the store would literally say, on the box of the game, like, you know when you purchase a pack of cigarettes, and it basically says, hey, bitch, you'll get lung cancer smoking all of this. Maybe on the packaging for these games, you should have a giant red strip that says, this game will only be alive for a period of so-and-so years. I feel like if that was brought up, or, you know, hey, this game disc does not contain all of the actual content you need to load up the game offline, then it might actually trigger some of these developers and publishers, rather, specifically to make versions of video games where needing the online is only needed on a situation where it is required. Like if you're launching an MMO, or you're launching a game where it is a multiplayer-focused experience. Like, obviously, when you purchase Rainbow Six Siege, like I mentioned in the beginning, you're not buying it with the expectation that there's some crazy offline component. You know from the fact, from the purchase, that you're buying it to play online exclusively. But if you're buying something like Elden Ring, which obviously that's a different example here, a better example would be if we brought up The Crew. If you're purchasing a game where even on their actual directory they'll tell you it can be played solo, it has a single player experience attached to it, then it should be told on the box that this game will be alive for so on and so forth. And if you're purchasing this for the single player experience, you might as well spend your money elsewhere. Maybe the wording should be changed around, maybe things should be brought up. But the more and more I look into it, obviously I think Ross...
Oh good, I can sell wood.
Really good place. I think that his heart is in the right place, and he's focused very much on the preservation of these gaming experiences. And I can also see where the vagueness...
Can I move? Oh, right, I can't move.
By Pirate Software. So obviously it's a pretty...
Gotta be very careful doing this.
And I wanted to really talk about it and really, you know, put my head into it and really get all of my thoughts out, because it's a really complicated situation. But at the end of the day, I think everybody talking about this, me, Ross...
Oh look, I got money. 48 gold. Nice.
And everybody that's involved in this...
Gotta put it away.
This world of video gaming that we love so much. I think all of us just want the best. We want these games to be...
I want these games to be the best. Yep.
To be uncompromised. And ultimately, we want to make sure that not just the consumer is respected in this, but also the people that are making the video games to begin with. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I really wanted to talk about, you know, stop killing games. Obviously, I support game preservation. But, yeah, the more and more I research into it, obviously there is nuance. And I think ultimately the heart is in the right place for stop killing games. I really do believe so. And even if it is very vague, again, the heart is in the right place. And honestly, maybe there is a requirement for the government to at least touch upon how games are advertised, how games are sold, how games are even licensed in this case, just to make sure that, I don't know, just to make sure that consumers are respected in the best possible ways. Obviously, if you're somebody developing an MMORPG, you might be more of an exception out of it, but if you're a developer that is creating live service experiences like Suicide Squad that exist literally as looter shooters with online DRM attached, maybe you should...
Oh, they bought the weapon, yeah. The weapon, so that's whatever that weapon was.
Legislators and making sure that that aspect of gaming dies right now before it actually gets worse than it already is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it, I am out.
Daggerfall released 25 years ago.
You keep trying to autoplay this Daggerfall video. You're so dumb. Like, I like the idea of Daggerfall, I do. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's my game. I don't really think so. It's too old. Browse market, sell items, 10,000 wood for 14 gold. Good. And finally we come here and we go again. And there we go. I have sold my wood. Well, I haven't sold, but I mean, I have posted my wood. Good. And there's that. Now I should get another wolf and another set and go do some more, but it's not really requiring me, or I'm sorry, it's requiring me to pay a lot of attention to do that. It's a fun game, but I think I want to play a different game now. Maybe I'll go take a look at some Rust.
And guess what? It's actually my favorite game in the series. Yeah, I said it. And this is coming from someone who played Morrowind first and didn't even touch Daggerfall until last year. But after a long bonding session with this phenomenal game over the course of the pandemic, Daggerfall has proved itself to me. So before we get started here, over the next few hours, I will deconstruct every aspect of Daggerfall in an attempt not to...
Please stop auto-playing this. I don't want to play this. Please don't do this. Go back. You're stupid. So, yep, and here we go. New wavy web smurf.
Today's video is sponsored by Keeps, and to begin the ad, let's look at my hair from some old videos back in 2020. Yeah, as you can see, your boy was thinning up there and losing hair fast. Now, I didn't want to go bald, so I decided to do something about my hair loss and got started with Keeps, and the results, I mean, I must say, have been pretty good. Here's me at 6 months after starting Keeps, a year after starting, 2 years after starting, 3 years after starting, and then there's me right now, 4 years after starting Keeps. And if I'm being honest with you guys, I think I'm looking pretty good. Keeps offers generic versions of the 2 FDA-approved hair loss products at a can't-beat price, and best of all, you skip the trip to the doctor's office and pharmacy. Keeps will set you up with a prescriber online and ship your prescription right to your front door. You can start taking it, and in 4 to 6 months, you should begin seeing results. So take it from me, someone who has been actively taking Keeps for 4 years now, this stuff does help with hair loss. And if you're a guy out there that's having some anxiety about hair loss, there's no better time than now to start Keeps. Hair loss stops with Keeps. You guys can go to keeps.com/wavy to take advantage of their special offer. Big thanks for the sponsor.
Good in the hood today, but next fuck this shit up. No, for real.
While most would-be influencers from behind bars tend to use Facebook Live to make their presence known online,
Facebook
our next
Live?
subject took a more traditional
They have
approach,
phones in prison, do they?
operating a bona fide Facebook blog of sorts and making candid statuses and videos about smuggled-in fried chicken and, him sharing his thoughts about
Oh, that's
fellow
wise.
inmates. This is the darkly hilarious...
Okay, guys, I like wavy web smurfs, so I'm gonna go crack a bottle of wine, and I'll be right back. And we'll have some wine, listen to wavy web surf while I play my MMOs and figure out a server to play. I'll be right back. Oh, my sniffers look closed. Now, what do I do? day. Almost lost an Akator for a fucking phone call. Where'd you go? Oh, yeah, there we go. I just want to look at your options real quick. Screen 1680 by 1050. That won't do. VSync, FPS limit, graphics, ultra performance won't do. No. Ultra won't do. We'll go to high. Yeah, all the rest of that should probably be alright. Should probably be alright. Reflex on plus boost. Reflex. Fix. TSAA, depth of field, motion blur, hurt, and hurt lighting. Shows a blood screen overlay effect, and hurt lighting applies lighting to the hurt overlay. Partial occlusion, culling, and contact shadows. Okay, good. So first thing we do is we do the same old look that we always do for RPG. Let me see, 27 servers to Russia. We sort by players, and yeah, Rus Kasta Fast, which is a Russian server, is doing well, but that's it. Terrestrial, welcome to Terrestrial PvE. Offers a rich and vibrant PvE progression experience that subverts you in character development, RNG enhanced loot, NPC faction warfare, empire development, and a plethora of additional quality life features. With over a dozen ranks to achieve through our RPG system, there are no wipes. Long-term RPG rank and skill system, RNG enhanced loot system with valuable sets, and all this. How many people are on this server, the Terrestrial? It's 8 people. It's role play. No wipes. Death detected. Protected backpack contents. Protect your bags by keeping them in your backpack. Can protect your bags? Okay, I don't really understand that. But progressive upgradable bags, modifiable building damage, and RNG heli encounter, RNG Bradley encounters, NPC faction and bosses, NPC raidable outposts.